This is a RF power meter head, and of course this is the RF power meter adjuvant in 1914A for a power meter head, because I know I'm going to be measuring RF power that could go beyond 20 dB, so make sure that your power meter head can handle that, otherwise it will blow. There's a couple of things that I want to do. So that the 80 megahertz RF power that drives the EOM, I want to know how much exactly it's outputting. That's why I brought this. I also want to find a channel online that reflects this amount of input 80 megahertz power to the EOM. And what else? Yeah, maybe I'll just look at the 80 megahertz bit note, because if I change the modulation depth of this 80 megahertz, the sideband peak, so you would have a carrier which is the 80 megahertz, and you should also have a 160 megahertz, because it's carrier plus sideband and carrier minus sideband. When the carrier is gone, you have 160 megahertz. Plus minus 80 is 160. So if I take the attenuator out, the sideband should become higher and 160 megahertz should go up. And if I put the attenuator in, 160 megahertz bit note should come down. And with that information, I think we can calculate how much modulation depth exactly is in there. You can also scan and look at the transmission sidebands, carrier and little peak. Alright, well, let's get to it then. So before I start using this power meter, I always zero and calibrate. For this particular one, I can't really calibrate it. It has something to do with this attenuator here. Yeah, so what I do here, I plug this power meter into the reference. Once this is in, just press this button here. It says cal. And on the menu, you have a choice of 0 or cal. So I already know that I can't really calibrate this unit, so I'm just gonna do the best I could is 0. And we are plugged into channel A, so you hit 0. Okay. There we go. Now it's back to some low dBm. That's what we want. That is without an attenuator. It reads 12.9, 12.95. Oh, now it's 12.6. What the fuck? Stop fluctuating. Next, I'm gonna put the 20 dB attenuator in and see how much it reads over here. This thing now reads minus 2.3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. I'm gonna bring out another unit.
80 plus 35. 35.5 is what we're using for the SHG, isn't it? So 80 plus 35.5 is 115.5. And 80 minus 35.5 is 44.5.
But what is 35 has to do anything with this?
That is already 35.
Oh, it's already come in the green.
Oh, is already there, and then we're modulating it, and then we basically produce one below 80 and one above 80. You know, 80 plus minus 35.5. That's what we're seeing here.
Minus 68, minus 68 dBm here.
Next peak right, minus 67. Next peak left, minus 61.
And how much we had before?
The 2 omega was minus 32.
Minus 32, now we have minus 62.
We probably got to already get some nonlinearity in the gamma when we're that high. Some Bessel function there, which is probably affecting us at the high modulation index. We probably get less than we think we're getting. And here we get minus 42. It's the read back here on the screen. But you know, this tells you whether the attenuator is in or not. RF monitor is 23 dB down from the RF input. And this is corrected for that, you know. But it's only 20 dB large and not 23. I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
Let me tell you one thing. A difference between working in a university's lab and a lab like here, LIGO lab, like the super famous big LIGO lab. And since I've seen both, I could tell you that there's much less pressure working in your own little lab, in your own basement, because you only have to follow your own schedule. You have to graduate eventually, but you make your own schedule, pretty much, unless your advisor is a fucking asshole. Like on a day like this, where I'm still sniffling, I would take a day off, no guilt whatsoever. But here, there was just a talk that venting Hem6 is a possibility now because our squeezer fiber is not doing so great. So right now we are crunching our diagnostics to make sure that there is really nothing else we can do, and there's really nothing simple about this problem that we can easily fix outside, like in air, without going in chamber. Because every time we open up a vacuum chamber, that takes a solid week away from commissioning. If we do that, we are not going to start observing when we should be. I think I've ranted enough. So what I'm gonna do next is, well, now that I put in an attenuator, I get a little more green into the OPO. I get just slightly more nonlinear again. Maybe I'll just get one more squeezing data. I'm gonna swap to a Mephisto, this local LO here, just to make sure that we still see the same amount of loss in the homodyne path. .50. That's what we're gonna use. Luckily, that didn't take very long. For checking the power after the balancing, it's still read 0.5, 0.51. That's good. 0.34. That's half as much power here in the seed. Yes, we're just gonna have to match the LO to that. I had been having trouble with my fringe visibility. I wasn't able to optimize it, but now that I turned off the table light, all of a sudden it got better. For a long time I thought table light didn't matter. The tricky part is we are using a different LO now. The LO we are using is picked off from here, which means the output has to go to the LO PCT, not the OPO PCT. The LO PCT is actually plugged into, so this channel 2 here was empty. I can't unplug channel 3 because channel 3 needs to talk to the OPO PCT. This is what backoff needs. But channel 2 was empty, and I think this cable belongs here and somebody unplugged it. Is there anything going into... Yeah, there's nothing going into channel 2. We used to use this for feed forward, which failed miserably. So additive offset is turned off. LO fast path is open. I don't think I need a promoter box. Channel 2 is now hooked up to output, slow output of the LO command board. Minus 6 dBm. One cool thing I wanted to show you last time, but my GoPro battery ran out. I'm actually squeezing right now. Look at that. Minus 3, minus 2. I just want to make sure that I'm seeing the best amount of squeezing I could. This circle here represents the tip of the ellipse. Right now we are squeezing this way. If we are anti-squeezing, it will go this way. Channel 1 is I and channel 2 is Q. Try to adjust. So the dot needs to go up because that means you are getting even more squeezy ellipse. Squeeze ellipse goes this way, and this squeeze ellipse goes this way.
If we don't,
Try to be gentle here because interferometer is locked. It is now, what time is it? 10:21. I'm back here to take a few more data points. Right now the 20 dB attenuator for the 80 MHz modulation signal is in. Before that, we were operating without these attenuators. Daniel's idea was that maybe these 80 MHz leak into the cavity so much they create so much phase noise that destroy squeezing, and just you wouldn't see that on SR75 because it's a 80 MHz. SR75 only have a range up until 100 kHz. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one more measurement with current setup with 80 dB attenuator in, just to make sure that I still get the same amount of squeezing, that nothing has changed since I left. I only left like about 3 hours ago. Wow, holy what the is going on? Start 1 MHz, stop 5 MHz, there's nothing there. Stop 10 MHz. Do I saturate the homodyne? There's just very little power going in. That's 3, 6, 9. There's a multiple of 3. 9, 12, 15, 18, blah. I totally saturate this thing. Right now we have like 4 microwatts of CLF. I mean, how could it saturate? I don't get it. Now that we found our extra phase noise, I am taking another shock noise reference. My first data point was anti-squeeze of 6 dB. That's pretty promising. With the nonlinear gain of 2.3. 3.958. So now I just got 3 data points of squeezing and anti-squeezing. I'm gonna take the attenuator out. So the attenuator is out. 80 megahertz, still tiny. It is now 11:44. I got mostly what I need, but I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna try to recreate the mistake I made when I was measuring with the PSL allo. Let's see if we can get less squeezing and less anti-squeezing. It is now midnight, past midnight actually. I thought it was gonna take less than an hour when I came out here at like 10. LIGO Hanford site is like in the middle of nowhere. So I still have to drive 30 minutes home. At a time like this, I wish they have a sleeping trailer. That would be really helpful. Anyway, good night guys.